Well, that flat out sucked in just about all aspects of the game. Samsonov wasn't great. Decor wasn't great. You only scored 2 goals on Sorokin, but I mean, obviously one of the best goaltenders in hockey, so I get it. And the entire team turning the puck over is galore. And you lose 7-2 to the New York Islanders. 7-2. Yeah, that's ugly. That's ugly. And the Leafs have now played back-to-back games where they just have not really played very well. Matt Murray just stole out one against the Senators. And you found a way to get 2 points in the shootout. Tonight you weren't so lucky. And it's unfortunate, you know. I was hoping the Leafs would come out with some sort of jump for their captain. Obviously that didn't happen tonight, but in the end it's a regular season game, so I'm trying not to dwell on it too much. But let's be honest here, you lose 7-2. It's glaring. It's an issue. But how big of an issue? And that's something that has been hard to clarify with the Leafs. You know, year in, year out, right? They give you great regular seasons, and they give you stretches where you want to pull your hair out during those regular seasons, and you start to doubt, right? And then they come to the playoffs, and sure, they always lose in round ones. It's the way this team works, the way the organization works. Hopefully, this year is different, but we say that every year. They always find a way to get it to a Game 7, though, and lose in some sort of dramatic fashion. Which tells me they're there, right? It's right there. And they've lost to some, obviously, the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? Last year, goes to the Cup Finals. You know? And they're 1 goal away. They're a pick away from going to the Cup Final, or a non-call away from going to the Cup Final, the second round at the very least, right? And I look at tonight, and I think to myself, does this mean anything come April 13th, whatever the playoffs start? Does this game tonight, on a late March against the New York Islanders, does it mean anything at all? Even, like, everything that happened during the game doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't. Because the Leafs can come out there in the next 2 games, play phenomenal hockey, and win, and we'll forget about this game altogether, right? That's the way sports works. It's the way hockey works, especially with this Leaf team. And I told you guys to start the year that I have learned to enjoy the wins, but don't lose your mind on the losses, because you're going to get into the same spot as you were last year. You're going to play the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been not great in the new year. And for the Leafs, you're in a good spot to get home ice. They just lost to Montreal tonight in Montreal in regulation. So the Leafs, even though they lost 7-2 to the Islanders, are still 3 up on Tampa with 2 games in hand. And no matter what you did tonight, that does not change. It does not change the playoff schedule or anything. Yeah, sure, if they, you might look back at the Islanders game and say, well, if they won that game, they had these points, sure, whatever. But you know who you're playing. We have a decent idea of where. So what does this game matter? Let me talk about a few things about this game that frustrated me, and then we'll quickly move on. Timothy Liljegren, I thought, had a rough night. Sure, he had an assist on the first goal. Shout out Sam Lafferty for getting his first goal as a Leaf, and Bobby McMahon for getting his first NHL point. Congrats. But the turnover, the whiff of Timothy Liljegren, that's painful to watch. The turnover from Mitch Marner and Morgan Riley, that's painful to watch. Right? The Marner's pass, when it's a 3-2 game to Morgan Riley, goes in his skates and it goes back the other way and they go bar down and make it 4-2. And we all know how that ended up afterwards. And it's not like those are new guys. It's not like you're seeing Jake McCabe and Ryan O'Reilly have a little bit of a miscue. No, that's Morgan Riley and Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner's played his entire career with Morgan Riley. So if there's anything to be a little wary about, it's the stuff like that. But again, it's a game where everybody was not looking good. However, That's now back-to-back games where they've had a miserable time keeping the puck out of the net. They allowed 4 against the Sens. They've allowed 7 tonight. Sure, they allowed 2 against the Carolina Hurricanes. But they've allowed a lot of goals recently. The expected goals are through the roof. Do you credit that to not having, Ryan O'Reilly? Obviously, no TJ Brody tonight is a big problem because he's the glue for this decor. Whoever he plays with, plays well. When he's with Morgan Riley looks like the $7 million, $7.5, whatever the hell he's making, $1 million guy the Leafs signed. When he's not, he looks like a dude that should be, top 4, top 6. Maybe that's that extent, but you guys know what I mean. So there's a lot of variables, but do you attest that to not having those 2 guys? I mean, that's 2 guys. It's something to keep an eye on. The one thing, though, that frustrates me to no end is watching Sheldon Keefe just tinker with these lines day in, day out. Shift in, shift out. The Matthews line, maybe not the Matthews line. Let's say it's, let me put a line together here. David Camp, Sam Lafferty, and Alex Kerfoot, right? Let's say that they go out there, they have one bad shift. Jumble, separate them, go a different way. Sheldon, relax, man. Let's put the same lines out there for like 2 or 3 games, albeit we only got 12 left, so you gotta hurry up with this. And if you keep those guys together for a 2 or 3 game span and they don't work, then you make a little of an adjustment after that. Because then there's something else has to work. The tinker job from Sheldon Keefe is painful to watch. It really is. And I'm just hoping, come playoff time, it's different. And in the end, that's all that matters to me. I learned it at the start of the year. And I'm here in late March thinking the same thing. Did tonight's loss stink? You're damn right it did. The Leafs could have gone 5 up on Tampa with 2 games in hand. And without physically, locking up the spot, you would have put yourself in damn good shape to do so. You didn't, but you didn't lose any ground. So, how do you want to look at it? But I want to get your guys' thoughts in the comments below, though. Is there any guy in particular that you did not like tonight? I didn't like Liljegren, and we've seen a lot of that recently from Liljegren, and we've seen him kind of come out of the lineup at times, right, when Brody is in. We've seen Brody, Hall, and Luke Shen on the right side with Riley, McCabe, and Eric Gustafson, on the left side. Look, it's going to be interesting to see what this decor looks like heading into the playoffs. But Timothy Liljegren recently has fallen off. Now, what does that mean moving forward? Only time is going to tell, but there's a lot of question marks. And for goodness sakes, watching these forward lines get jumbled up and watching Nylander get demoted to the third line and this and that. I understand he hasn't been good recently, and look, he's been great all year, but the story of the season last year was the up and downs from Nylander. Here's that down. Can he come back up before the playoffs? We'll have to see. But something's got to give here. It really does. The question I now have for you is, who starts next game against the Panthers? I think it's going to be Matt Murray. Because they've loved to go with the hot hand, right? And sure, Samsonov allowed 2 against the Carolina Hurricanes, but let's be honest, how many high danger chances was there in that game? I wouldn't say there was much. Matt Murray dealt with like a house thrown at him against the Ottawa Senators and did find a way to steal 2 points for this team. Samsonov allowed 7 tonight. No matter which way you look at it, no matter how the high danger chances, the turnovers from the Leafs, you want your goalie to make a save. Like Sorokin did on Gustin early in the game to keep it a 1-0 game, where if he scores with, just over halfway through the first period, they could be down 2-0 and the Leafs could keep on reeling through them. Instead, he makes a stop. They score 3 unanswered in the second period to take a 3-1 lead. Marner scores early in the third period, then causes a turnover, and they score, 4 straight unanswered goals after that? Yeah, it wasn't pretty. But you need the big save in the big moment, right? That save he made against Sebastian Aho, right? Against Carolina. That big stop he made against Aho. Those are the type of ones you want to see. Nah, look, Samson's been great all year long, so he had a stinker tonight. But again, it still feeds the narrative. The home road splits are not good for Samsonov. He is ridiculous on home ice. He is terrible on the road. I believe he's sub 500 on the road, and he's like 18-2-2 or something like that on home ice. He doesn't lose at home, but he barely wins on the road. And Matt Murray, he's won some road games. No matter what his stat numbers look like, he's won some road games. So I think Matt Murray starts Thursday against Florida, and depending on how he plays, you'll see who starts Saturday. That's the way I think it's going to happen. I understand Samsonov this, Samsonov that. He's been great all year. Don't get me wrong. But Matt Murray is the goalie the Leafs organization wants to be good. That's why I think this is what's going to happen. We'll have to see, though. All right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and not the game today, but if you're an Islanders fan and you love the game, smack that like button anyways. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already, comment down below your thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game, what you like, what you not like from today's game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Twitter and Instagram links are down below, so follow up, send me a DM, guys, all that great stuff. The Discord and Instagram or TikTok links are down in the description as well, so follow up there. And I will talk to you guys Jay's Edition tomorrow. Wrapping up this past week's spring training games. Nothing today, but we'll talk about tomorrow's game. As for the Raptors, they're back in action tomorrow as they host the Indiana Pacers at Scotiabank Arena. Looking to get back to that one game under 500 mark. It's wild. As for the Leafs, like we talked about, they're back in action on Thursdays. They're in Florida taking on the Panthers in Sunrise as the Leafs look to get back in the win column. And can we put a good defensive performance together? And Sheldon, for goodness sakes, let's keep the lines the same for a little bit longer than a couple shifts or one period. Like, please. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and not this game today. We'll talk to you guys then.